What's up, YouTube? Michael with Gnome Logistics here. Just coming back at you with that video that I promised about your TNT trainers. This one I know a little bit more about because I'll actually train from time to time. So for all the PSD students that are back at the terminals and you're upgrading, or you're sitting there and you're waiting to hear back from your dispatcher about when you're gonna be able to get out on a truck, you know, they're pushing for people to become trainers and stuff like that, and you want to make sure that you're going to get the best bang for your time you're going to be in. Remember, the trainer is going to ask you questions when they talk to you, like maybe how you feel. Well, I'll go off what I would ask. You know, I'd ask you how much experience you had driving the truck. Again, back at one of my other videos, you may have very little time driving, but a lot of pad time. You may have a lot of driving time, but not very much pad time. Or you may have a mix of both, and you got a pretty well-rounded PSD trainer. So, you know, I'd want to know what you're comfortable with, as far as how long you were able to drive in one sitting. You know, most of the time I do my runs in 10-hour shifts. So you'll drive for 9.5 with your half-hour break, and then we'll switch out. That just makes it a lot quicker and easier to do. There will be days where, you know, your day's going to stretch for a long time, but that's just the way it works. So you will get your 9.5 hours a day of driving minimum, once we get to that point. A lot of people get on the trucks, and you know, the trainers want to see what you can do, so they're gonna stay awake with you for a lot of the time. I don't think too many of them are just going to turn you loose and then go to sleep and be able to sleep well. But once they get comfortable with you, which usually about 2 days, you know, I'm going to drive my shifts also, but I'm going to watch you drive at night, and I'm going to watch you drive some during the day. So that way I'm comfortable with you handling the truck. And, you know, if you're not, then we'll push for some shorter times for you to drive for a couple days, but max is that week. That first week you're on the truck, you're going to be pushing to try to drive as far as you can. You know, you got to be able to sleep. I'm pretty good with 4 to 5 hours of sleep, and I'm good for another 12 to 14 hour day. That's just the way I've always been. I've got kind of high-strung energy, so as long as I can get a good 4 to 5 hours of sleep, I'm solid. You know, you'll be sleeping on the bottom bunk because that's where you're supposed to sleep when I'm driving. If, you know, ask your trainers, you know, if, you know, how they're going to do it with their bunk. Some trainers will take all their stuff off the bunk and move it, and then you put all your stuff down on the bunk. That's a pain. I found that if, you know, you bring a sleeping bag or something like that, you just move my pillows and my blankets out of the way, or just my pillows. You put your pillows down, throw your blanket, sheet or blanket over top of mine, and just lay on it that way. Because I don't want to have to make my bed every single day from scratch, you know, have to pull your stuff off, put my stuff on before I lay down. I don't like eating in the bed. You know, you get crumbs and other stuff, and I hate sitting back here eating, but it's sometimes what you got to do. You know, you're gonna have trainers who are, you know, ask your trainer, make sure that they're gonna be clean, make sure that their truck is clean. You know, there's no point in you getting on a truck and having to be on that truck for 2 months if the truck isn't clean the way you want it to be clean. You also can't get on the truck and think that you're going to do what you want to do, and you can just throw your stuff anywhere, because you got to remember, that's his home. Your trainer lives on that truck for 95% of the time, unless he's on home time. So, you know, respect the trainer's truck. Respect the trainer. You know, no trainer wants to hear when he's trying to teach you how to back, when he knows that you don't have a lot of experience, when you say, oh, I know what I'm doing. You don't. I mean, that's just the way it is. If you have no experience with a truck, you don't know how to back. You have an idea of how to back. And, you know, there's some trainers out there that will give you that chance. They'll say, okay, well, show me. And they'll stand back there and let you back and just let you know if you're going to hit something. And, you know, and I'm that way. I learn better by myself. If I have somebody sitting there talking to me, telling me what to do, after a couple times, I'm worse at it, because it's like a stage fright type deal. But if you leave me alone, I'll get it. So that's kind of how I learned. But, you know, my trainer would just tell me, hey, try this. You know, he'd let me do it, and if I couldn't do it, he'd go, okay, now here's where you got to adjust, stuff like that. You know, the cleanliness in the truck, your trainer's going to tell you when you're going to go to the take showers. You know, he's going to tell you how many days they generally try to go before they take a shower. For the most part, hopefully they don't say too many over 2. Sometimes two is my max. Sometimes, you know, I may have to go into that 3rd morning or something like that, depending on the shipper or whatever, or the receiver. But, you know, you start getting funky. And, you know, I've got plenty of socks, so I change my socks a lot, change my underwear a lot. But, excuse me. You know, you want to make sure that before you commit to getting on that truck with the trainer, that everything is talked about. Like, make sure how many hours he's wanting you to drive a day. Ask him if you're going to be driving all nighttime or if you're going to be driving all daytime. More than likely, the trainer's going to tell you you're going to drive a lot of nights, because they don't want to drive at night. You know, it's harder to drive at night, so that's actually better experience for you. But me personally, I like to mix it up, because I don't want to drive all the time at night, but I don't want you to drive all the time at night either. So, you know, you kind of got to have that little banter back and forth. You know, if your trainer's going over everything with you, paperwork, how to use the reefer, how to set the reefer, how to, you know, jump start it if it won't turn on. You know, anything from sliding the tandems. Just make sure that you're going over everything. Trip planning. A lot of trainers won't let you trip plan, because, you know, they kind of know what they want to do and where they want to go, especially if they're a lease operator or owner op. You know, they know where they want to go and they know how they want to get there, so they're not going to let you trip plan. They might let you look at it and give suggestions, or they might ask you how you think you should do it, but they're not actually going to let you trip plan, which is kind of a good idea, because if you go solo after your TNT, your trip planning is going to be totally different. When you got nobody else on that truck to drive when you're out of hours, it is a totally different monster trying to plan a trip. And when you get out there, you'll find out. You'll get these shippers that hold you up for 8 to 10 hours, and, you know, you just woke up an hour and a half ago, drove to the shipper, and now you got to wait 8 to 10 hours. You're not tired, you know, but you're going to find out soon that you have to start trying to take that nap. Other words, a couple hours after you leave there, you're done. You can't drive anymore because you're exhausted, because you didn't take a nap. So one of the keys is sleep whenever you can. You know, I have no issues with a trainee if, you know, they get on the truck and, you know, they drive for a little while, and, you know, they want to take their 30-minute and they want to take a nap. Set your alarm, hop up on the top bunk, take you a 30-minute cat nap. I can do a lot with a 30-minute cat nap. I can get really refreshed after a 30-minute cat nap. So you just got to remember to set your alarm so you're not late. Remember, don't pull over on the side of the road. You know, I've had that issue with a student before. you don't pull over to the side of the road to take a break. You know, rest area, truck stop. You know, if it's like super late, you know you're not going to get a spot at a truck stop. And if it's a busy truck stop, you can't just sit in the fuel island for 30 minutes. You know, off ramp, pull over on an off ramp, take you a 30-minute break. I'm okay with that one. But you know, on the side of the road, you just can't stop there whenever you want to, because you want to. Anyway, what else? Their trainer's going to teach you how to do the paperwork. So you're going to go into the shippers. You're going to learn how to look on your phone, if you're going to a shipper, you don't have paperwork, it's on your phone. You'll go in, give them your pickup number. So your trainer will show you how to do all that stuff. Trainer will show you how to drop and hook the trailers, how to slide the tandems, you know, how to put load locks in, you know, make sure you go over, you know, working the Qualcomm. They'll go over with you working the time clocks or the E-log. They'll go over, ask them to go over the APU with you. You know, sometimes your APU won't work. You'll have to go out there and hit the reset or turn it off for a little bit and then turn it back on, and it might work for a little while again. I've had that issue quite a bit. Let's see. You know, if you're coming in the winter, you know, make sure that, you know, you get that winter drive time in there. I mean, there's no point in coming in the winter if your trainer's not going to let you drive a little bit. Just remember, go take it slow, not too slow, but take it slow. You know, take your time. If you don't feel comfortable, let your trainer know. Your trainer's here to help you get to the next step in your career here with Prime, or any other company, but specifically for Prime, since that's who we work for. We got, let's see. So they'll show you how to do that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, they're going to go over all the stuff for you, show you how to use the Atlas if you don't know how to use the Atlas. I don't think there's that many drivers that use the Atlas anymore, but it is something that's good to have. You know, but they'll show you how to do all the paperwork, all your detention stamps, how to scan all your documents. You know, you got to scan all your documents before, I think, 12 or 24 hours to be able to get your detention. But you need to scan your paperwork as soon as possible. If you don't have your paperwork scanned, excuse me, if you don't have your paperwork scanned by Wednesday at 4 p.m., you will not get paid for that load, unless you can get somebody to work a miracle for you. But yeah, the trainers, like I said, they'll go over everything, show you how to put the fuel in. The fuel, for some reason, you know, I had one trainee that just couldn't get it. Like, I don't know why he couldn't get doing the fuel. You know, when it's your shift, you're responsible for fueling the vehicle, fueling the truck. You know, your trainer's going to tell you what you need. You know, whether you need DEF, reefer, or just the tractor fuel. They'll show you how to make sure that it's being done correctly. You know, you don't want to put the wrong stuff in the wrong hole. It won't be fun. Winter drivers, you'll get to learn how to maybe throw some chains if you go up through the mountains or anything. You'll learn about anti-gel being added to your fuel. You know, that's pretty much it. That's all I could think of. No, actually, no, it isn't. They emergency stopping on the side of the road, putting out your triangles. They'll teach you who you have to call, when you have to call them. Go over accidents, shortages, damages on loads. You may have a couple of those in your time here with Prime, that you have to take damages to another location or toss them in the trash or whatnot. But you have to know you have to contact the right people so you can get that approved and get told where you need to go with it. Like I said, the trucks are small. They're not very big. I mean, you can say they're big if you want to, but I'm a small guy, and I think the trucks are not very much room once you have two people in here. I try to give enough room for all the stuff. I keep my couple things down at the foot of my bed, like my shower bag, stuff like that. When a student's on my truck, they'll keep their stuff up on their bunk down at the foot. And then I give up, basically I have two upper cabinets. The one you see behind me, there's another one right in front of me here. I give you one cabinet. One whole cabinet, there's nothing in it. I'll take all my stuff out and I'll use one, you'll have one. Up in the bunks, you have a spot to plug in your phone. You have a cup holder up there. I always say not to have a cup that actually doesn't have a tight lid, like a shaker cup that you can actually close and it snaps so you know it's closed, or a soda with a lid on it. Because if you just put a regular cup up there and forget about it, we hit a bump. If it's got stuff in it, it may start leaking, may spill out, and that's just going to be a mess that I'm not going to clean up. You'll have to clean up after yourself while you're on the truck. Just make sure you're clean. Make sure you respect the environment that you're in. And if you are not, if you are not happy with the way things are going, and you don't think the training's working for you, talk to your trainer before you call dispatch and say, hey, I don't like this trainer, I want a new one. Because remember, you're going to have to wait. So the trainer doesn't know how you learn. Everybody learns differently. Like, some people are hands-on, some people can read a book and know it, some people can have to have a little bit of both. But talk to your trainer. Maybe it's just the way he's training you, and maybe you can sit there and kind of explain what you're not getting, and then you might be able to come up with a better way for him to actually teach you how to do stuff. Just remember, again, they're here to help you. Yes, the trainers are making money off of you because they get to go twice as far, which means they can do more revenue for their truck. But also remember that they're paying you. It's not a lot. Right now, I believe Prime is paying $900 a week before taxes, while you're in TNT. And that comes out of the trainer's pocket. That doesn't come from Prime. If it's an owner-operator. If it's company, I'm not sure how that works with them. I guess Prime pays you. Yeah, so just remember that they're making money off of you, but you also are making money off of them, just not as much. And they are teaching you how to do your job, or the job that you're trying to get into. And everybody comes to Prime with a goal in mind, whether it's just to come in and make some money, if it's come in, get the experience and then go out on your own, go to a different company, get your own authority. I talked to a girl the other night, Juju, and she was in Dunn, North Carolina, and she hadn't had any of the winter driving experience. So she had asked me if her truck needed to be pulled out because apparently a guy, a couple parking spots down, parked on some ice and he couldn't get out, so he had to be pulled out. But your trainer's going to teach you what you need to know. Try not to get upset that you're not making that much money, and just, you know, let them know, hey, I'd like to get out there and drive and get the hours. And they're, trust me, they want to make that money too. You know, I mean, for me personally, having somebody on my truck, sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not, you know, because sometimes you just want to be alone. You don't want to have nobody else on your truck that you have to deal with. You have to wait for them to go to the bathroom. You have to wait for them to go to take a shower or whatever. And I'm one of those guys, I do stuff with urgency. You know, if I go to the bathroom, I'm in, I'm out, I'm gone. I don't like to sit around and wait. You know, showers, a little bit different, because I'll go in and take a 30-minute shower whenever I get a chance to. But, you know, just keep in mind that you're going to learn what you need to learn, as long as you keep an open mind and you're actually wanting to learn. You know, I don't think any of the trainers have any qualms or issues with calling the dispatcher and saying, hey, this isn't working for me. You need to give me a different trainee, or just give him a different trainer. And the dispatcher is going to try to work it out with them. But, you know, if you act like an adult, you get treated like an adult. You know, and everything can be peacefully reconciled without you having to sit around and not make any money. Because if you get off my truck because you request it, you don't get paid until you get on again. And I'm not sure if Prime lets you go home to wait. So that could get kind of pricey. I mean, even if they pay for the hotel, you still got to pay for all your food and stuff like that. So, but anyway, thank you for listening. I know it's a lot of rambling. I go back and forth. I don't write a script or anything. So when stuff hits my brain, I just blurt it out, and I'm all over the place most of the time. But I appreciate it. Remember, like, subscribe, click the bell, and wait for the next one. Thank you.